Hi everybody, my name is Russell Jewell. I'm a brass instructor at the Brookline Music School in Brookline, Massachusetts. I've been asked to spend a few minutes today talking about playing a brass instrument in tune and the inherent challenges that we face in doing so. I want to talk a little bit about the physical setup of the instruments to create a starting point so that we can more easily do this. And then go a little bit more into depth beyond that and about some tools and ways that we can create a beautiful sound that will easily blend with the people that are around you in the orchestra or the band or any other musical setting that you might be in. So I wanted to start with the trumpet, which is an instrument that uses valves that changes the notes by lengthening and shortening the tubes that we need to play the different notes. I wanted to talk about more specifically, though, today, the tuning slides. If the main tuning slide of the trumpet, which tunes the overall instrument, if you follow the mouthpiece down the lead pipe to the initial crook of the instrument, there you can find this main tuning slide. This is the slide that we use to tune the overall instrument. If I pull it out, I can lower the pitch if it's a little too high. If I push it in, I can raise the pitch if it's too low. So this is a slide that we don't really use while we're playing. It's not a slide that you can use on the fly. This is one that we use during practice as we're getting to know our instrument in order to play our fundamental notes comfortably in tune. That will give us a starting point to help bring the rest of the instrument in tune. The other slides that I want to show you are on the third and the first valves. And when I push down those valves, these slides should move very easily. When I'm playing a note that uses these valves, sometimes those notes can be inherently sharp or high, like a low C sharp or a D on the trumpet. So I want to lengthen the tube of that third valve to bring that note down. The same with the first valve slide when I'm using the first valve. So these are the slides, and these are the two slides on the valves are ones that you can use on the fly, whereas the initial main tuning slide is one that we would set it during our practice time. Next, I turn to the trombone, which is a very unique instrument in that we don't use valves or keys to change the notes. We instead use this very long tuning slide, essentially, to lengthen and shorten the tubing to change the pitch of the notes. And so we have to learn the precise positions where each note is going to be on the slide, and through intense practice of our scales and arpeggios and such to create muscle memory so that when you go to a position, you're going to be consistent every time you go to it, which creates consistency in pitch. It also has a tuning slide at the end of the crook of the bell that I can move out to bring the pitch down a little bit if the pitch is a little high, and I push it in to bring the pitch up a bit if the pitch is a little low. And again, as with the trumpet, I'm going to use this tuning slide to tune my fundamental notes in the first position, the B flat, the F, and the B flat. And so when I can get those notes comfortably in tune with a nice, comfortable stream of air, that's going to give me a reference point for all the other notes that I want to play beyond that. So that's how you use these tuning slides on the trumpet and the trombone. It's a much more involved process, and so I want to talk a little bit about that as well. So there are many tools that we can use to help us with our intonation playing brass instruments. The most common is, of course, the visual tuner. There's many kinds of tuners on the internet, and very fancy tuners that flashing lights and needles and such can tell you and show you when you're out of tune or when you're perfectly in tune. The only problem with the The tuners is that they are visually oriented rather than using your ears. So in training and insisting that your ears really know when you're in tune rather than your eyes. So one of the tools that's a favorite of mine is to use the cello drones. I use a YouTube station. They've got cello drones for every note that there is, and 6 minutes of one constant note. One thing I like to do is I like to sit and just sing with it. I like to sing the note. I like to sing my scales with the drone. I like to push the note sharp and push the note flat so that I can hear and feel what it feels like to be sharp and flat, and therefore finding the middle more readily. So the more you use these drones and the more you sing with these drones, the better trained your ear is, and your ears are the ultimate guide for your trombone. So whatever you're going to be hearing, if you're hearing things nicely in tune and hearing the center of the pitch, it's going to be much easier to play your brass instrument in tune. So use a tuner, but I strongly recommend using drones to train your ears and to sing with, so that when you pick up your instrument, your ears are in tune, and therefore it's going to be much easier to play your instrument in tune. So that's a short synopsis on tuning your instruments and also, more importantly, tuning your ears. So happy practicing. Play your scales, play your arpeggios, and very much so play your long tones. There's nothing that increases the strength and focus and balance of your embouchure than long tones. So happy playing, stay safe everybody, and I'll see you down the road.